Hi everyone and welcome to the PlantStock channel. If we haven't met yet, my name is Jesse and tonight we're going to focus on the Very Good Food Company, aka the Very Good Butchers. We're asking the question, could they be a 10x company or more, or even could they be a generational company? In an effort to be able to answer these questions, I have designed 5 criteria that I look for to help me evaluate the likelihood of this happening. The 5 criteria that I look at are: do they have a grand vision? Do they have a superior product? Do people love their product? Do they have an advantage competitive wise? And finally, do they have a strong CEO and management team? This is going to be a 5-part series, and tonight the focus is going to be the first criteria. Do they have a grand vision? So make sure that you stay tuned. And before we get into that, if you want to be part of investing in the plant-based space, want to have an opportunity to gain a lot of profits, but still be part of making the planet more sustainable, then subscribe to the channel, as I will keep you updated on VRYYF and other plant-based companies. I would also really appreciate an early thumbs up, since it will really help the channel grow and reach a larger audience. Thank you guys, I really appreciate your support. Now first, let's take a look at the stock chart. Ticker symbol VRY in the Canadian SEC. At the moment, the price of the stock is $7.30 Canadian dollars. For those of you who invest in the OTC version in American dollars, ticker symbol VRYYF, it is at 571 American dollars. So for a while now, the stock has been going really strong again, related to several news releases. And as we now can see, there hasn't been any news as of late. Then it starts losing momentum once again, and people start to sell their shares. Like I've stated before, I think we have a lot of inexperienced investors in the market today, especially in companies like VRYYF. They tend to follow the herd mentality and are easily scared off when there are no more news. Also, I think it's likely that we have a lot of traders who pump the stock and then dump it to make a quick buck. However, if you are a serious investor, that should probably mean that you are here for the long term, which should mean that these temporary highs and lows shouldn't bother you. So I've talked about this before, that in order to decide if a company could have the potential to become a 10x company or more, there are certain criteria that needs to be met before I feel comfortable to make that call and actually invest for the purpose of gaining greater wealth through the specific company and stock. It needs to be a company that is trying to disrupt an industry and taking market shares from current industry leaders. Beyond Meat could be used as an example here. They're trying to disrupt the meat industry and so far doing a good job. My first criteria is, do they have a grand vision? By understanding the company's vision for the future, the purpose of their overall goal, a purpose that moves beyond solely profit as motivation, I feel more confident that it is a company that can give me a healthy return on my investments. But it's also important to me that those returns is something that I can feel good about, knowing that I'm contributing to a better world, in opposed to extracting wealth through suffering, other people's disadvantage, but obviously not only people. We've used Beyond Meat as an example before. They want to disrupt the animal agriculture industry, an industry worth $1.4 trillion. By taking market share from the meat industry, they're on their way to helping the planet become more sustainable once again. They do this by focusing on meat-loving people and supply them with a meat alternative that both mimics meat in texture and flavor. I would say that the Very Good Food Company has a similar vision as Beyond Meat, although they try to approach it in their own unique way. As they state on their webpage, there's a new butcher around that block, and we do things differently. Really, at the Very Good Butchers, we believe in butchering beings, not animals. We're on a mission to show that making good choices doesn't mean sacrificing flavor. We want to make plant-based eating as approachable, nutritious, and delicious as possible by creating food that is very good for people, animals, and the planet, while having a little fun along the way. So in other words, a part of their vision is to make the planet more sustainable, both for people and the animals. But the difference is that they do emphasize on the nutritious aspect. After watching a few interviews with the CEO, Mitchell Scott, it is clear that they want to offer a delicious and healthy meat alternative, but on its own merits. without actually mimicking the flavor of traditional meat products. This is an interesting vision in itself, considering that more and more people are switching to a more plant-centered diet, and there are those that question the idea of mimicking the flavor of meat. They ask the question, if you want to give up meat, why eat something that has a similar taste? Personally, I believe there are plenty of people who ditches meat but actually enjoy the flavor of meat. And there are plenty of products out there that mimic meat in different ways. Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods being some obvious choices. But there are also plenty of people who don't enjoy the similar taste to traditional meat, which make VRYYF products an excellent choice. Yet, I still think that their vision on making a more healthy alternative is what is going to attract a lot of consumers in the future. But more on that in the second video. Do they have a superior product? Another thing in the vision for their company and brand is their aggressive expansion into other regions. That is something that the CEO has spoken about on multiple occasions, namely that they want to expand into the rest of Canada, but also eventually into the US. I think that most of us are now aware that the company has already started to follow their vision, and they are expanding into eastern part of Canada, at the moment through Sobeys retail network. More on that in the upper right corner. Also, they are increasing their productivity and started to prep their new facility in Vancouver, which should really help them on their expansion endeavor, considering that the facility alone can produce up to 37 million pounds of their meat alternative at full capacity. They have also leased a huge facility in Patterson, California, which is planned to go online later in spring, which will help them with their expansion plans into the US. This facility has a max production of 98.5 million pounds per year. And finally, we have their vision of actually moving into other verticals such as cheese and dairy. This has been in the works for quite some time now, and it seems that they are already about to deliver on this aspect as well. Take a look at my video if you want more details on this. We will also talk more about this in my video about the fourth criteria, which is, do they have an advantage competitive-wise? So in conclusion, do they have a grand vision? I would say that they have a good vision for the future. They want to help sustain the planet. They want to offer consumers a quality product that not only tastes great, but that is also nutritionally healthy for you. In my opinion, their sustainability vision isn't as strong and clear as Beyond Meat's, yet that isn't so strange, since it might be more related to a brand recognition issue. The Very Good Food Company is still very much in its infancy, and it is hard to go all out and criticizing the whole meat industry and emphasizing that they will disrupt them. This is of course what they are doing, just in a smaller scale at the moment. But they do seem more bent on the health aspect of their product, giving their consumers a better for you meat alternative. And that brings us to the next criteria and the next video. Do they have a superior product? Make sure that you watch it. So that was it for today. I truly hope you found a lot of value in today's video, and if you did, please smash that like button. And if you want to keep getting news and analysis on VRYYF and other plant-based companies, please feel free to subscribe. And as always, people, this is not financial advice. These are just my own opinions and thoughts. It's important that you always do your own due diligence and invest safe. Thank you for today, guys. Hope to see you soon. Peace out.